Facebook. Yay! Hello, Soulfire. We are so glad that you are here. I am here with Rochelle Peak tonight, who I love working with. Hey, Rochelle, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
So I'm so glad that we could talk tonight. This is something I know you had brought up actually a while ago that you've been guided to talk about, working with the higher self, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, why don't you, let me share that we know each other through different avenues, but right now we're sharing space at Healing Within Louisville. So Rochelle and I, we used to see each other before COVID a lot more often, but sometimes we share a similar space. But Rochelle, I know you've been on here before, but if you could share, a little bit about what you do, and I know we wanted to talk about your story a little too.
Yes, I am a hypnotist, and I am also a light activation energy healer. And I'm right next door to Jessica's office. And I have we were in this space, I think we've been in this space about a year or so, a little over a year.
Yeah.
And then we were in another space together about a year. And we met at a spiritual center a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because there were several people that I met there that kind of gathered together, and it's a full circle. This community is. So we are now in a beautiful space with all 9 of us.
Yeah.
Good number.
It is a good number.
Yeah, it is. And yes, I have been guided. A lot of my clients come in and ask how I get the messages that I get. And they, if you've ever had a healing with me, you know that I am a star seed, and I work with the star realms and angels. And some people don't work with angels, but I do. So, and when I first started doing healing, I wouldn't even tell people. I would just say, well, I'm doing energy healing. They never asked. And then I was like, screw it. I'm telling people what I'm working with. And this is what I'm working with, because they would start feeling energies touching them when I would be at one end of the table, and things would be going on at the other end of the table, and they would be like, what's going on? Well, there's not just me in the room.
Right.
I bring in an army. Basically, the room is very crowded, and it's very interesting. Sometimes there are watchers, beings that come in and just love to watch healings. And they really don't participate. They just love to see the healing.
Wow.
It is, they'll say they're there sometimes afterwards, and they'll give me comments, and or they'll just show up. I had Saint Germain show up one time. That really freaked me out because that was a big one. Yeah. I've had Archangel Michael's, the feminine part of my Archangel Michael, which is Arc of Faith, and she's pink, and she showed up, and she just filled the room up. And so I don't know half the time. I call in who is my team, and it is a pretty big badass team. And then I have others that come in. So it's interesting. It's never the same. It is always different. New light codes come through, new frequencies come through. It is definitely something I can't put it in words. You would just have to experience it.
Well, and I have experienced your healing often, and I love Rochelle's healing, and I can tell you the amount of work that she puts into every session, and I know that she will be modest about it, but she puts in a good amount of time, probably an hour at least before. It's probably not specific, it's probably different for everybody, but there's time before that you're channeling, there's the
Mm-hmm.
healing process, and then there's the information that she's going to give you after, as well as listening to the light code. It's really relaxing. I've done both hypnosis and the light activation and the DNA, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yes.
and Rochelle, I'm like, Rochelle, today I have a headache and I can't get rid of this shit. Help me. And she's like, you need to schedule a session. One. I'm like, and she's giving me tips. So don't call her for rescues. I'm not saying that, but I am saying she's my go-to and I trust her. And I have lots of healers that I use. But for me, what I found amazing, and I won't spend a whole lot of time, but I do want to share that there was a confirmation I got in one of our sessions, and it's more of a confirmation, like, I know that you're doing what you need to do, and I love the healing I get out of it. But I had seen something in my vision, and when we got done, you were like, I saw a parasite in your third eye, and I was like, oh, I did too. I saw that. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was just making, how we do sometimes with our intuition. I'm making shit up, and really we're not. It's all very real. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was interesting. So you all know I have tried the healing and I love it.
Yes, it's definitely, I don't know anybody here in Louisville that is doing light activation. So when I brought it, I was guided to go out to California. And when I received my first healing, and this is where we're going to start tying in to the higher self. I had a lot of energies bombarding me just night and day. They were coming into my dream time. They were showing up in the bathroom. They were showing up in my car. At first, I thought I was being haunted. um, I've seen things since I was 4. I didn't know what I was seeing because I come from a very religious background. My dad was a Southern Baptist preacher. I don't know if anybody knows that, but a few people that I've told that to. And when I started having my gifts, I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know who to talk to. I just kind of, kept them to myself. Then the voices started. And I was a teenager when that happened. And I was like, I am going freaking crazy. That's what's happening. Because, we did pray in our home. And I understand when you're praying, you're asking, so maybe you're getting messages, but I would hear multiple voices. And that is one thing I wanted people to know. I think some people think that the higher self is one voice. I have aspects of higher selves. Archangels, I have many higher selves. They come and go. Guides come and go. They don't stay around because you're descending. And with each frequency that you're going up, you get new guides, and they are an aspect of your higher self. So I have had, in the last year, it's been pretty busy. I've had so many guides come and go. I'll be at work, my other job, I'm an accountant. So I'm sitting there typing and I'll hear, I'm here. And I'll be like, who is here? And everybody else is doing their job. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay. So I'm checking in with my higher self. And I'm like, who's here? And they're like, I'm your new guide. It took me a while to get here. I had to go through this dimension. And then they're telling me all the stories. And I'm just sitting there like, is this really happening? Then you start thinking, am I hearing things? because and it's not my higher self. It is something I'm imagining. But when you start working with your higher self, you will know what is of authentic information to you, or what I call the drunken uncle that kind of is a spirit that sees your light on and kind of wants to have a little story or give you some information. And I kind of play a game. Sometimes spirits do like to be mischievous, and they will show up in your bedroom. And well, when you're turned on, you will hear all beings that can get into that frequency.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
And like the other morning, I woke up and I had a chapstick on my nightstand. It was rolling back and forth. And I'm like, okay, who's here? And they were like, they didn't give me their name. And I said, are you a light being and or an angel? And they said, I don't like angels. And I was like, well, you're not allowed to be here because I don't want to speak to anything that doesn't like angels. So they didn't act like they wanted to leave. So I had to bring in some angelic forces, and I think they had come through a dimension while I was asleep, because we do travel and we can have things attached to us while we travel and wake up and have things in our energy field. And that's not to scare anybody. That's just energy. It's not anything good or bad. It's just energy that you pick up. But some of the things to start working with your higher self, I have a list. So if anybody wants to get a pen and paper, if they'd like to write down any of these things. So we're going to give you a list of things to start opening up the pineal or pineal gland. We were saying earlier,
Choose
whatever word you want to use. There are things that will help you. Number one, I was asking Jessica, you have any problem with me saying no fluoride? And she was like, no, I'm all right. Well, that was one of the things they guided me to start doing about 2.5 years ago. They were like, no more fluoride toothpaste. Go get other toothpaste. And I'm like, okay, why? And they would start working on my pineal gland, and they would, one day it felt like they were scraping it, and I started looking up things, and there's calcium that gets builded up on it. It looks like a little pine cone is what it looks like. And they used to have these they're spiritual people, they used to have these little pine cone looking things on the top of their head because that's what it looks like. And so the fluoride clogs it up. So try not to use fluoride in your toothpaste, because we're already getting it in our water.
I was going to ask you about that, because it is in water. And sometimes I've had this discussion with people that it's important to even take it out of the water.
Yes.
It's important to, like, even showering with it,
filters on your shower. If you can afford those things, if you can't, just try to limit your time in the shower. I get in the shower and ask my guides and my higher self to let the toxins to take the toxins out of my skin. You can work with toxins. They're just, they're a mineral just like anything else. It has energy. So you can talk to it and say, I would like it not to go into my skin.
Same with eating,
So, yes, people put filter. That's a good thing to put a filter on your shower for fluoride. Some of them can be expensive. So that's why I say if you can't afford it, just limit your time in the shower. Because I am guilty of, love a hot shower. I will stay in there forever.
Me too.
But now that I know that it's getting into my skin and it is causing a problem with my pineal gland, which is what is connecting us. So that's one of them. The mineral melatonin is a good supplement to take because the pineal gland actually produces melatonin. It's a secret, but that's what puts us to sleep. So that's a good herb to take. Don't overtake it. All the things that I'm telling you tonight, use as your discretion. Some things work for people, some don't. Your body is different. Everybody has their own little rhythm of things because their frequencies are higher, their genetics are different. So don't call me up and say, I got sick because I ate a whole bottle of melatonin. Read the instructions, do your research. I'm just giving you a list of things that will help you.
Can I
in
ask
the
a
process.
question? And I following questions, and Selah asked if Epsom salts help, and I think that was for the fluoride and the toxin.
Yes, it detoxes. Yes.
Thank you for letting me ask that.
Yes, and also saunas, hot yoga, sweat huts. I don't know if there's any sweat huts here in Kentucky, but there are in other states. But
there are
sweating,
saunas, like at the float.
Yeah, saunas. And hot yoga, anything that you can get into that will sweat all of the toxins out frequently. Wash it off, because if you let it stay, it's just going to absorb back into the skin.
Is that why movement's important?
Pardon?
Is that why movement's so important, to help us sweat that shit out?
Yeah, it is. I do hot yoga, and I do it because I need it to move the energy in my body, and I think everybody needs something to move the energy in our body, but I also do it because it makes me feel good when I sweat all of that stuff out. So that's the Epsom salt bath is great for also detoxing other people's energy. It is definitely good for all kinds of things. Muscle aches, it's Epsom salt bath. Yes, check and double check. I think everybody should have a bucket of it. If you can't get in the ocean, yes, do that. Another thing is drinking the water. We talked about that. Blessing water. I even brought a, I don't know if y'all can see this. This is shungite.
What is it?
This is shungite.
Okay.
It is a stone that comes from Russia, and it is carbon based. And I put it in a water pitcher, and you just keep filling it up. Every full moon, you need to either rinse it with salt water or put it out in the moon light so that it recharges. But this takes so many toxins. Make sure you use a glass container, because if you put it in a plastic container, it's going to absorb the plastic into the water. But this is a very, very good filter. I had the flu like 3 years ago, and during my days of having the flu, they were just bombarding me with ways to filter water. I was like, what are y'all doing? Yeah, they were like, drink structured water, get this. I mean, they were just like, I was like, okay. So have been using this for a couple years now, and I can tell the difference when I do not use this. People at work use the Pure filters. I use this.
Can you
And
spell that stone?
it is,
Or can we post it later? So you
yeah, Shungite.
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 Okay, I'm like Shug, like Tupac and Shug got me.
Shung. I think I have, hold on, let me see if I have a.
Y'all know I can't help myself. Sounded like Shug, and it just made me think of Tupac. Shungite. Molly Maloney.
I gave you a necklace with one of them. Do you remember? Yes, that's Shung. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, they both spelled it for us on here. So if you are following, look below. Thank you, Molly and Sayla, for putting the spelling in there for us. So yes.
Right, and it comes in all kinds of forms. Like I have lots of pyramids. I put these on my computers. Put them on my phone, my tablets. I have them by my cable boxes. They help the frequencies that come out of the cable boxes to not, that helps with the pineal gland too, with it, because the waves, and radio waves that come out of those boxes, it damages our aura and puts rips in it. So we're not just fighting, I'm not saying fighting, we're not fighting energies, but we are fighting the elements that we live in here, a dense world and 5G and all of that stuff. So that does affect our third eye and our pineal gland. So I like the water using the stones, and I also like spring water, because spring water still has some of the minerals that come from the earth in it. If you get purified water, they have taken out the magnesium and sometimes put it back in. So I would definitely, alkaline water is good because the body needs alkaline. Use water as medicine. Just think about it like that. I have to take my medicine today. I got to get lots of water.
At least half your body weight in ounces. Would you say the same? Like my health coach days tell me half your body weight in ounces in water. And also I love alkaline water. Like that's my preference. And,
Right. It's definitely something to think about. But if you're getting tap water, you just got to keep in mind that you're getting a lot of fluoride. So I'm not sure these stones take the fluoride out, but they take a lot of the toxins out. So I have to look that up. So, but those are the things. Water is very important because as we are using our higher self, we're opening up our crown and using our pineal gland, and that plasma that is coming, the photonic light that's coming into our bodies is going to dehydrate our body. And that's why everybody that has ascension symptoms, like Chris was saying, he's going through all kinds of things. They are definitely symptoms. You'll hear the back of your neck pop, your head starts expanding, all kinds of good things, but we're evolving. So you've got to think we're starting to become more of a consciousness, a collective consciousness, and we have to let more light in. So getting our pineal gland ready for that and starting to open up the crown more. When I had my first light activation session, she said, I helped pull open your crown. It was very shut and blocked, and I woke up the next, next morning, a couple nights after that, I saw it opening and shutting. I'm like half asleep and I'm like, what is this? It was like sunshine trying to come into my head, my face, like beyond my eyes, behind my eyes, and it would snap shut. And they call this contrast, is where you're expanding and then shutting, and until you can get it to open up. And that is the lotus flower. I know y'all have heard the third eye being, not the third eye, but the crown being referred to as the lotus flower, but that's kind of, it looks like that when you start seeing it. So another thing that I do and to help activate the pineal gland is sun gazing. I don't know if Jessica has any experience in doing any sun gazing. So you do a lot of moon work, and you can do moon gazing too, but the pineal gland is actually a crystal, and it reacts to the sun so magnificently. And when you start doing sun gazing, just do it at sunrise and sunset. I'm not asking people to go burn their retinas out in their eyes because you will. I do it periodically during the day because I have acclimated myself to be able to not look directly at the sun, but around it, and ask for any codes that it wants to give me. And but use that sun energy that is at sunset and sunrise, because there are codes in there. Our body needs those codes to start bringing in the information that you need, that you will get through your higher self. And I did a sun gazing one night, and I actually felt like I levitated off the ground. Now, did I? I don't know. But that's what it felt like. Hey, I always tell every client I have is, if you feel it and imagine it, it's happening. So if you imagine that you have a room full of angels in your bedroom, it's happening. If you imagine that there is a big demon in your room, it is happening. So I don't ever tell anybody that was your imagination, because that is all the third eye is your imagination. So
Yep.
So people want to open their third eye. I'm giving you a list of things that will start activating your third eye. That's what the pineal gland is. And then when it starts activating, your crown will start to open. And that's when you will get more of a connection with your third self. I mean, your higher self. I'm sorry. Now, there's still more. I have a whole bunch of things. Eat raw vegetables. Less red meat. I know people are going to be like, I like red meat. Well, when you start doing this work, you're not going to want it. I don't know why, but you just don't. Yes, there is the violence and the taking the babies from the animal. You start feeling those things, because when you start getting tapped into the collective, you don't just feel the collective of the people, you feel the collective of the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. I can actually touch trees and talk to them. I get their names. I always ask a tree, can I touch you? I haven't had a tree yet say no, but I had one kind of went, I was like, okay. But it's permission, because we don't own anything in this world. We only are here using it because God has given it as a gift to us. We think we own things. We think we own a car. We think we own a house. We don't own it. When we leave here, do you take it with you? No. So you don't actually own anything. So some other things. One of the big things, liver cleansing. Big thing.
Joke, yes.
Liver
Is that because
cleansing.
of the toxins too?
The heavy metals are stored in the liver. Colon cleansings are good, but you gotta be careful to do one in step of the other, because from what I've heard, you need to cleanse the liver first and the colon last, because it can it can bloat the colon, and so check that out.
That's
Because it is I remember when I was doing all the yoga and doing getting the colon to start cleansing, and then my stomach started getting all, it started just storing all of that toxin in my stomach, and I was like, what is going on with me? So I did a colon cleansing with the liver and kidney cleansing, and it flushed all of that stuff out, but it was just building and building into the colon.
What liver cleanse do you recommend? Like, I will say, like, this is so interesting. And of course, not coincidental at all that I've been researching like colon hydro cleanse, which I'm poop. I don't like to deal with poop, but also like I want to cleanse like the meat that gets stuck in the colon, like the things that get stuck in there. I want that out of there. And it's also interesting that I don't feel the need to eat meat anymore. I don't have a taste for it. Sometimes even like the taste just isn't there. And you're right. Like when you get into this work, you just don't have as much of a craving.
Well, and also once you get into the collective of things, you start feeling, and when you start working with your third eye, you will probably see the animal you're eating.
I mean,
Yes, and you'll know where it came from. You'll know what farm it came from. You'll know how it was treated, and that's kind of you're eating the energy. So if you're going to do that, I'm not trying to judge anybody for eating meat, okay? Because I cook it for my family. I'm not going to tell them do what I'm doing. I suggest it, and but there are ways of eating meat. Go to your local farmer that you trust, they're taking care of their animals, that if you're going to eat meat. I've done that at the farmer's market. I get a good eye for somebody. You get the feel of, and you ask them questions. You're like, well, how do you take care of your animals and things like that? And when you start working with your higher self, you can say, hey, is he taking care of his animals? And they'll say yes or no, So that's what I suggest. Again, this is all in the world according to Rochelle. Do your research. I'm just giving you the things that I worked with in my experience, and Jessica can tell you her experience. So there are herbs that you can use also. Mugworts, alfalfa, alfalfa, parsley. Those are things that help the pineal gland. And we had already said melatonin, but I think that's more of a supplement than an herb. It's a mineral. Crystals. Crystals are awesome to use in helping open the pineal gland and the third eye. Clear quartz, all the dark blue stones. I have a couple of, can you see these?
I can see it right there. That's beautiful. What kind is that?
This is lapis.
Okay. Lazuli?
Yes. I can never remember the name of that, the last part of it. And then this is just the regular quartz. This is the sodalite. Is that how you say it?
Sodalite. I think you're right.
Yeah. That's another one that put these on your third eye, as you're laying in bed. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up with stones. I put them in my pillow. I've put them everywhere. Amethyst is always a good one. You got to be careful with amethyst. Get the right kind of amethyst, because sometimes they can be commercialed like plastic. You know, you want to make sure you get a genuine amethyst, because they sell amethyst everywhere.
Yes.
The stone stores, of course, they'll all have authentic stones, but you gotta trust the people that you go there. If it's a place you go to all the time, because they do manufacture fake stones.
Have you picked the gold?
And I didn't know that until somebody told me, and I have some. I actually was like, what is this stone? And they were like, that's not even anything, that it's something that's been manufactured. So that's something, you know. There's one here in J-Town. I think it's called Moonstruck.
Have you been to Gold Heart Stones on, I think it's not Baxter, it's Barrett. Mm-hmm. I went in there today, and I love Earth's Art. I love Sticks and Stones. I love several shops. I had not been there. They're doing a lot of lives to sell crystals and doing private shops. I had not seen a crystal collection anywhere in town like this.
You like it?
I picked up moldavite while I was there.
Oh no.
And
but you know where that's at. That's at your house, right?
It's at my house. It's at my house right now, or it'll be on me. Okay?
Because Christopher and I had a conversation about that. Yeah, mine's locked up.
Okay. Well, I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, it's not everybody can do moldavite. Okay, it is an asteroid. Yeah. And it has some particles in it that, be careful using that if you want. It is a very powerful stone. Really? You can open up a lot of stuff with that. You got a really big piece of it. It's usually on.
I was guided to it. Like, okay. Well, I have this, so, and I don't want to spend time talking about this, but I will say, there's the little piece. I text my friend and asked if they had moldavite, because it kept coming up for me. And I wasn't really drawn to it until then. She said, it's so funny. I had this little piece I was supposed to give you in something that she had given me as a gift. So I carried this and then asked her to pick a piece for me. And as soon as I saw the video, my guides were like, nope, not the one. Nope, not that one. And I kept trying to write yes. And they were like, no. And I was like, listen, I'm going to need to come in. They said no. They told me no. So I was guided to this one and another one. So I wouldn't have gotten it if I hadn't been guided. And she said, you must have a really big energy. I'm like, that sounds about right.
That's why I'm just like, caution. Not everybody can work with that. Mine is in a black bag, and I haven't been working with it yet. So, because it was bringing things into my space. So it is a very powerful stone. It resonates with different people. I know that some people work with it wonderful in meditation and activating their, it opens up the third eye really, really big. And, but it is not one of the ones on my list.
I'm sorry.
She talked to Jessica about it, see how it works out for her. So.
This is chrysocolla that I had also been guided to.
Dark blue would be, anything dark blue is good for the pineal gland in the third eye.
Cool.
So the next thing is, this is your space where you are doing your work, your sacred space. Make a sacred space. Whether they used to call them the prayer closets. When women had small houses and kids running around, they would go in the closet.
Huh.
For real. This is for real. They called it the prayer closet. They would make a little space, and that was their sacred space. If you got to go in the closet, go in the closet. But make your sacred space. Clear it. Don't do your third eye work, your pineal gland opening, talking to your higher self in a room full of junk. It will, because you're going to expand your energy out into the walls, into everything that's in that room. So clear your space, detox your space, sage your space, light a candle, set an intention. And the intention is really, really important. What do you want to accomplish with talking to your higher self? It's not to get money. They're not going to give you any money. Sorry.
It's true.
I'm sorry. It's not to make something happen to someone else. That's not going to happen. Just get that clear. Because I know people that do that. That is a different kind of work. I don't do that work.
Me either. Let's make that
only
clear.
Light work here.
I'm not doing that work.
Yeah.
I'm a good witch.
So talking to your higher self is about connecting with, and I'm going to give you an analogy. The hummingbird goes to the flower, getting to the sweetness of yourself. That's where you have to go back to. And setting that intention every day, I would set on your phone a ring that'll happen 4 times a day, because you're going to get misaligned all day long. Believe me, I'll be like, woo, I'm in my zone, and I'll be like, got my higher self here, got my guides here, and somebody will be like, and I'll be like, and they'll be like, I gotta get back on my center. It happens all day long, and then and if you're an empath, you'll be like, somebody's energy's on me. Legit. Attach all parts of this one. I haven't figured out yet. I'm still working with my guides on this. These energies that are constantly getting on the back of my butt cheeks, I don't like that.
They like your booty?
No, it's like they go in my knees and in the back of my legs a lot. And I'm like, I think it's the hip chakras that are there. I'm trying to figure out what chakras there that they're wanting to get into.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is definitely. It's like constant. And I haven't figured that. I've been working with them. They're just saying it's something that's being attracted. So
keep me posted on that.
I know. So working with the higher self, these are the main things. 1, clear your mind. Clear your mind is just like clearing your space and making a sacred space. And you don't have to be in your sacred space to talk to your higher self. You could be in your car. I mean, you can pack up a little, carry thing with you that has a stone in it or has some sage in it. Essential oils are good for opening up the third eye. I just didn't put any in there because we've got a limited time tonight. But so set your phone for lining back up with your attentions 4 times a day, so that it goes off and you know that you are on point. And just put your hand on your heart and center yourself 4 times a day, just checking in with yourself. State your intention that you've made. And again, it's not going to be about money. That's a different show. Might be doing that soon. So lining and resetting your energies, the path you want to take. Because why are you wanting to talk to your higher self if you're not going on your path? Your path is moving forward, getting the true essence of you, connecting to the highest outcome. You have 1,000 timelines or more. You want.
I didn't know there were that many.
Oh, there's thousands.
I love it.
You want to find the best one for you, the one that's going to be the one with the ease and the grace in it. When I first started working with my higher self, it was not ease and grace. I think they dropped me out of a airplane with no parachute. That's the way I felt. I was like, help me. I'm falling. And they caught me. But the thing is huh?
Of course.
Of course, they caught me, but it didn't feel good falling. So just check in with yourself and check in with your heart. And then you've got to start no negative self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
Your higher self is not going to want to talk to you if all you're thinking about is bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop the low vibe conversations, complaining. Oh, I hate my job. I hate my boyfriend. I hate this, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's not where the higher self is going to be. You have to start talking in a high vibe to yourself, more self-love. I love myself no matter what I did today. Okay. And I got in a fight with somebody. I said some bad things. I still love myself. You say those things, and the actions are important too. So instead of complaining, start thinking about supportive solutions. And I'll tell you, as soon as you start doing this, people are going to search you out. They're going to be, hey, Rochelle, did you know so-and-so did, da, 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 da. And I'll be like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. Well, maybe they need a hug today. And nobody likes that. They want me to get into the mix. Oh, get in the mix. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. And once you start letting your friends and family know, they're not going to keep on you to get into that with them. They're going to know, well, she's not, they know what frequency people are at, but they're going to test you. And I know Jessica probably has seen this happen. So definitely clean your mind out. Start having high vibe thoughts and noise. It's hard to talk to your higher self when you're in a crowded room talking to people. You have to go somewhere and just be in silence. Clear the energy. Start there. We have to start there. Is start shedding the densities of other people, things you've picked up, because all this is about experiencing a higher state of consciousness. That's what the higher self is. Some people think it's a genie in a bottle.
I mean, that sounds good.
It does. And I was telling Jessica that when you first start out, it's like you have that soup can and the string that's connected to the other soup can, and you're like, hey, blah, 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 and you're hearing blah, 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 blah. You're like, what is going on? But you're getting messages. Just keep working with it, because the language will start to make sense to you. And it'll start coming through clearer and clearer when you start cleaning your pineal gland up and opening up the crown chakra. You will start to hear things. Be ready, because when you start doing the work, you're going to start hearing things. And be aware that they're not going to always tell you things you want to hear.
Exactly. That is so
They're going to tell you when you're being a butt, when you need to straighten up.
And also, they may move you from situations that you were like, well, shit, I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And they will be, that's why you're asking to have it, is guidance. You want to start getting the information that you have that's within you. And if you're not, when you start doing the work, be ready, because when you turn it on, you can't really turn it off.
That's right.
I mean, you could, I guess, you could say, go away, higher self. I don't know. I have never tried that. I don't know anybody that has, but once you start, it is, you want more. You want more information. You want to know more about yourself. You want to start shedding the traumas that are in your life, that you don't want those things in your life anymore. So it is about you, your true self. That's all we're talking about, is the pure source life that you have inside of you. And these are just a short list. I have a lot more information. And we're going to do we have time to do?
Yeah, I think it would be really great if we could do that short meditation.
Okay. Good.
And I've kind of hung on, and we don't have any extra questions at this time, but
Okay.
if you all have questions, feel free to type them. But yeah, I think it'd be great for you to do that.
Okay. And oh crap, I forgot what else I was going to say. And yes, okay. So we're going to do this short little meditation. So everybody, get in, if you can, go to a place where you're going to be not disturbed, quiet. And we're going to just do this as if you were doing this every day. This would be what you would do. And this is, I do this particular mantra or prayer or command, if you want to call it, sometimes from time to time, but you will find your own jive, if I want to put the vibration you're at, what you feel, you'll add things to it, because not, like I said, there's not one design for anyone in any spiritual thing. You may go get in a class and go, okay, some of this resonates with me, some of it doesn't, but that's what we're all doing. We're going through all of these things and we're picking what resonates with us, and we're collecting it into our spiritual bag. Okay? So we're going to start with closing our eyes for a moment, and we're going to start just shutting our mind and heart, just clearing everything out of there. We're going to ground down to Gaia. And I'm going to, you can repeat these things after me. I clear all lower vibrating energies and darkness. I'm going to lift them up, out, and down out of all my bodies and fields. And then the heart center, we're going to ask for it to be opened and shine forth my pure, true self, the pure source light. Come, be with me. I align my heart center with the 5D, 6D, the crystalline core of Gaia. And I want you to imagine a cord dropping from your heart down into the ground. The crown chakra vortex is opening. Expand to the crystalline grid level. I align my heart center up through the crystalline grid to my higher self and pure source light intelligence. And I want you to feel the connection of your higher self and your lower self. I invoke and command and decree full activation of my pineal gland. Pineal gland, light up, activate, amplify my skills of clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairaudience. So be it. And then you just sit there and own it. And I want you to feel anything that is moving around, anything that is not something that needs to be there. Just keep in your heart center. Ask what it is, if it is something that needs to be released. And if not, just sit there for a moment and just ask questions. You can ask something that may have been burdening your heart, and see if you get an answer. Something I've been working with lately is I've asked, why did I pick the mother that I had? Why did I pick the father I had? Why did I pick the body I have? And sit in stillness and see if you get an answer. And if you don't, also you can ask, higher self, work with me in my dreams. Give me some answers in my dreams. Show me some of these answers in my dreams. A lucid dreams are very, very good in getting answers. If there's anything that needs to be released and you're unable to find it in your body, ask for it to be shown in a dream. Now we're going to wiggle our fingers and toes, and we're going to come back into our presence. So that's just a little bit of something that you can use. And I was telling Jessica, if anybody is interested in it, I'm thinking about doing a 3-week course. If you'd put it in the comments that you would like to participate in a group of that I can put together, and we can work on pineal gland, third eye opening, and the higher self. So
I think that would be phenomenal. I loved the things that you had to say about the higher self, because I don't think I've actually ever connected my higher self as my guides being an aspect of that. So thank you for sharing that. So I learned something new today. I learned lots of new things, but this feels so important for the ascension that we're in. And I really love that you're sharing this, and appreciate all that they've given you for us to cleanse our pineal gland.
well, they gave me a whole lot of stuff, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get in it. If anybody has any questions, I don't see them, Jessica. If anybody has anything they'd like to ask, I don't know, I will find out.
So this is a great question that I think we can both speak to. Courtney said, Selah said, yes, she's interested. So we do have her interest so far. And Courtney said, please describe what you actually hear, in parentheses, from your experience. Is it like hearing similar to you hear a friend talk, or are you hearing your own soft voice that is from a deeper thought place or something totally different? For me
Well,
personally, I hear it as my inner voice. Sometimes it is my inner voice.
right. It sounds like your voice, but when you start working with guides, you will get a male or female aspect to them sometimes,
Yes.
but it's your voice. If it feels not your voice, it isn't. Like we said, there are the little moths that fly around the light. You're turning your light on, and there's lost disembodied souls all over this dimension, and they're looking for their way back. Some of them haven't found it, and they might think you are the light, and they're just checking it out. So when I first started doing it, yeah, I would hear voices out here. I always went here and inward and then down. And if it's here, I would bring it down here and I'd ask them again. If you hear something, if they go, hey, go buy some candy, you want to ask again, you really want me to buy candy, and feel it here. Because if it's out here, it's usually not. It's something around you or around someone else. That happens. And I know Jessica can tell you some of the stuff that she's probably had show up. I mean, they'll talk to you about anything.
I was telling somebody yesterday that they like to talk about sex sometimes. I'm like, here we go in our reading. We're going to talk about your intimacy. So it happens. I'm like, go buy some lingerie.
I know. I've had to talk to clients about all kinds of stuff, and most of the time it's not stuff I want to talk about.
Right.
But
I wanted to add to Courtney for that, like when I tell my students or my group that I'm teaching about tuning in, we're saying here, but remember that everybody is different. Now, Rochelle is telling us how to open up that clairaudience and that clairvoyance. But when I hear, yes, it is my inner voice, but I also see and I also feel. So everybody has the ability to use all of those. And there are more clairs, but those are our main 3 plus claircognizance, which is our clear knowing. And so those 4 main that we're using, your hearing could be seeing a picture and getting symbolism. You might be feeling it or you might know it. So just pay attention. But I know that the goal is opening and hearing.
Right. And sometimes you might have a block in one and they can't get through to you on one gift. They'll go to another. And we have to constantly be clearing different things. And ringing of the ears is a big thing that started when I first started doing it. This is just me. I made a code word. I was like, higher self, you and me, this is our code word. And it was popsicle at first. Okay. I was like, if this is my higher self, what's my code word? And then they were really getting, I guess, into my brain and my subconscious and finding it. And I was like, that's not. So I kept changing the code word. But I did that because I was getting so many things talking and I wanted just my guidance. I need the guidance. And like I said, once you start opening things, you're going to start hearing all kinds of things. And don't trust everything that you hear because they could be not your higher self. So I kept asking the question. I have used a pendulum before, doing the yes or no or maybe. When I first started doing higher self work, I would be, is this my higher self? And it would be yes, no, or maybe. It would say yes, or it would be no. And I'm like, okay, then I know. But that is a fourth dimensional tool. Your higher self is fifth. So be here, just let you know.
We actually just worked pendulums last night in our witch tribe. So I love that you're mentioning that. Like, it is a good tool.
It is a tool, but you got to remember your higher self is at a higher dimension. So and they understand you're just trying to start working the language and getting the light in. I had a guide come to me about 3 years ago, and he was all the frequencies were all over me, and I was like, oh no, what is this? Yeah. I was like, oh, I gotta go get this off of me. And then they were like, chill out, calm down, we're here for you. We're just checking to make sure you're holding the frequency. We're making sure you can hold the light, because you're calling in as much light as you can. And that's why you start feeling like, I'm kind of losing it. I'm thirsty. I'm not feeling good.
Jittery, like I've been amped. I do want to ask, we had one last question, and I feel like this could tie into a little bit of the code word. I could be wrong, but the question is there a protection you need to be working with in doing this opening? And it just made me also wonder, like, how do I put on my password protection? Oh.
Well, we are calling in that source. Source always, you could call in a beautiful bubble around you. This was a very small piece of things. I mean, there's so much that you can learn. Yes, you want, because actually what you're doing is opening up a porthole, and you're bringing in that connection to source. So think of a beautiful bubble of golden ray, and call forth that light. Call forth an angel. You can always call Archangel Michael. He's the warrior. Metatron is also he helps clearing. Anyone that you want to work with, whatever your favorite is. Raphael is the only angel I know that has a sense of humor.
We must be close. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, call in a higher light. Definitely, you should have some protection. It's not that you can call in lower vibrations into your body. It's just, don't be scared that you're going to have the exorcist or something.
Right.
Just do it so that you are that. I would just say that nothing can speak with me that is not of my highest good. That's what you should say, and bring in the source's light, or whatever higher intelligence that you speak with. You may not work with source, you may work with something else. I respect all of that. So
me too.
It all comes from the same place, just letting you know.
Rochelle, I know that you may have a couple other things you want to finish up with, and I wanted to ask you if you could please share the best way to reach you.
You can reach me at Rochelle. My email is rochelle@beginwithhealing.com. I also have a website, beginwithhealing.com. I have a Facebook page. I believe it's everything's beginwithhealing.com. And that's what we all have to do, is begin with healing. So that's how my path has started, how Jessica's path has started. Every healer you come in contact with, every astrologer, every card reader, we have all started with Begin with Healing. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
and I'm on also healingwithin.com. So you
Healing
can,
within Louisville.
yes, and you can reach me there. And yeah, I have a Instagram.
Cool.
Begin with Healing also.
Well, that makes it easy. That
Yeah.
me too, like all mine are the same. It just makes it easy. So that's perfect. And I recommend it. If you all are looking for healing, I think that you should try different methods of healing to see what works for you, and you will find what works for you. So definitely reach out to Rochelle. And Rochelle, you're going to be back and you're going to talk about, you're thinking about manifesting money, but also working with the higher self again.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. I was thinking about doing a show on abundance because we have a lack of it in our spiritual community.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that we have a lack, we have a belief of the lack. So, clearing that, it's clearing the matrix is what I should call it.
All right, let's write that down. We'll just say clearing the matrix.
Yes, clearing the matrix, because I hang out with Keanu Reeves. Yeah, we're going from matrix to matrix, and it's interesting because some of my dreams actually look like the matrix. It's very interesting, and places they won't let me go because I haven't cleared something.
Oh.
And usually they show it to me, and I'm like, but I want to go. And they're like, it's like a ride. You can't get on the ride until you pay, go get your ticket.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely. These are just a beginning list. I hope that y'all got to write some things down. I hope I didn't go too fast. I hope we didn't talk too much about stuff.
No, I think that was great. And I made notes myself, but the great thing is they'll have the replay here. I'm going to put this on my YouTube also, and comment below if you've got other questions. You've got some great comments there, but if you all have other questions, we can always reply back later too.
Yeah, I'll go through the replay and answer any questions. Also, if anybody watches the replay, I will go through there and see periodically and see if there's anything that I can answer, or go to if you go to any of the Begin with Healings, you have my phone number. So you can text me, email me. I am available because this is definitely something that is not a secret. It's not a secret. This is something everyone should know how to do. And believe it or not, I believe the children that are coming into this world, like my grandbaby, they are not going to have the struggles that we have. They're going to know. They're going to know. They're not going to be, I don't believe they're going to have to be awake. Like we have to awaken. I think they will already be awakened.
I love that. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. So I'm Rochelle with Begin with Healing. And if you want to get in touch with me, please leave in the comments. If you would like to have a 3-week course, I will put something together, and I'll see you then.
I feel like a 3-week course would be amazing. So thank you again. And you all know where to find me, but since I won't be on again this week, I'll just remind you. My website launches this Friday, and I'm launching 2 new programs. Both programs, I'm only taking 10 people in both programs, and I'm super excited. Best way to check that out, Friday for the launch, thejessicatanselle.com. If you're not already in my Intuitive Witch Tribe, we will be doing some challenges in there. I'll be teaching some tarot in there, and we've got a Monday night group. So since I won't be on anymore this week, I just wanted to remind you that's happening, and I'm super excited. And I will have a giveaway this Friday on my Instagram, so go there. And all of mine is the Jessica Tanselle. So easy to find. And this week, what else do we have this week? We're looking for someone who would like to do readings live on Saturday night. Right now, Kat and I have Saturday night off. It's our off night. Get to go be wild. And on Sunday, we have Molly Yunker for the Sunday morning reset, which is a beautiful way to start your Sunday. And then Christopher has the weekly forecast on Sunday night for the Astro Lab, which is awesome. And then, of course, I'll be back Monday with the Chronicles of Chiron with Christopher. So, and then we'll figure out a date for you to come back. Sound good?
Yeah.
I would love it. All right.
I'll be looking forward to it. Bye, everybody.
Bye, you guys.